Welcome to 5 after midnight, where darkness is upon us, and so are those that lurk within its shadows. Number 1.
I was working with my dad and a friend in a video store we were closing. The front door was open as we were loading things into a truck. Our store was relatively huge, and we had demolished all of the shelving, so there was nothing left in the store, save a few odds and ends, like the Coke machine, and there was one shelving unit we kept our jackets and food on that was in the center of the store. All our tools and stuff we were putting into the truck were near the entrance. I went into the back to lift something with my friend. We heard chatter outside as someone came into the store to talk with my dad, who was sitting on a chair resting. I came back around and saw my dad chatting and joking with a slightly larger than me man. I paid no attention, but then the guy started looking around, and my dad started telling him how we were closed, and the guy was like, "I'm just looking around." My dad asked him to leave, and the guy flipped out. He started yelling all of a sudden, then tried to force his way into the back. I didn't do anything. I was just watching him walk around. When I decided enough was enough, I got in front of him, and I told him I wanted to finish my work, so just get out. He yelled at me. Then I remember him saying to himself, "Okay, fuck this," and then I started pushing him out of my store. Near the entrance, he backed up off me and bent down. My dad yelled for me to get back. The following happened in slow motion. I looked back at my father. I took 3 steps back. I looked back at the guy and saw him standing up with our axe in his hand. Oh fuck, the guy swung at me, full swing, missing me by almost a foot. Immediately after he swung, this ran through my mind. That's our axe. I know it's blunt. I should charge him now while he's still in the backswing. But wait, what if it's not blunt? What if someone sharpened it? That moment of doubting led to him recovering and chasing us around the store for like 5 minutes. It wasn't so much chasing as he would just run after us and scream things like, "You don't know me, I'll fucking kill you motherfuckers. The police can't touch me. This little place, this is my area. I'll fucking head home, get my gun, pop a cap and eat your heads, and the police still won't be here." In the end, he got a bit tired. "All this chasing making me thirsty," he says. So he opened up our Coke fridge and starts taking drinks. "I'll take some for the kids, too." He walked to the exit, and we kind of followed after him. 4 or 5 kids were walking past and saw our Xbox games, and they asked us if we were closing. These kids were clients and troublemakers. They would come in the store and throw stuff at our cashiers. And the guy says to them, "You want 'em? Take 'em. These motherfuckers belong to me now. I tell them what they can give." The kids started to come in the store, then saw the guy holding the axe, and they very quickly changed their minds. The guy left our store and started walking away. My dad says, "Excuse me, that's our tool. We still need it." I was thinking, what the fuck? Just let him leave. "Just give it back to us." And my dad yells. The guy turned around and threw it at us back in the store, and then he left. My heart was pounding a mile a minute. It took 5 minutes, but it felt like 2 hours. My friend called the cops. They were there in 2 minutes. They looked around for the guy but couldn't find him. We told them that said he was going to go home to get his gun and then come back. We had to keep working, so we called his bluff, but 15 minutes later decided that the day was at an end. We closed up, leaving everything else there. When we got home, my friend's new wife met up with us for dinner, and my friend asked me not to tell his wife since it would freak her out, and I agreed. We sat down to supper, and my dad just blurted out, "So guess what happened today? Someone attacked us with an axe." And we went into details. She was not a happy camper. Also, my dad does not take care of his tools, which is why I doubted the sharpness of the axe. As it turns out, my brother sharpened it the day before. If the axe hit me, I would have been crippling. Anyways, that's the scariest, threatening thing to ever happen to me at work.
Number 2.
One of my work colleagues was closing up shop alone one night. She goes to the parking lot and notices her passenger window was smashed. A guy comes up behind her and says that he saw the whole thing, and that if she drives him to the police station, he'll give a statement for her. She declines, because he's quite creepy. He then gets really persistent, telling her his brother is a mechanic, and he'll change her window, no problem. Again she says no, and tells him politely to leave her alone. He carries on, and someone who works in the same area sees that she's being harassed by this man, and comes over and tells him to fuck off or he'll call the police. The guy laughs and leaves, still laughing. She drove straight to the police station, and they inspected her car. They found a knife, some rope, and a bottle of vodka under the passenger seat.
Number 4.
I used to work midnights at a truck stop. I noticed there is a truck one night that's been at a pump for some time. This isn't completely unusual, but it is worth looking into. Anyway, I grabbed my clipboard, which we use for taking down license plate numbers, etc., so I could get the license plate number to see if the guy has already paid for the fuel or whatever it was he was buying. I make sure there wasn't a spill or if the trucker needed assistance. Well, as I was approaching, a trucker came up from behind me from inside the store area, and he says, "Is there a problem with that truck?" I just said, "Yeah, it's been sitting here a while, and I need to get the plate number and find the driver to move it, and to see if he's going to be a while or if he's doing other stuff." By this time, we are both right by the truck's front, and I started writing down the plates, and I realized, why is this guy still here talking to me? If it wasn't his truck, wouldn't he just go away or something? And then he says this, "Why don't you look in the cab or knock on the window to see if there's anyone inside?" Well, obviously I can't enter someone's truck, and my brain was obviously telling me that this guy just wants me to get near the door or go in the truck. So I just said, "No, I've got what I need," and I started walking back to the building. Sure enough, I turned around and the guy got in that truck. I am sure he wanted to kidnap me. But sadly, since nothing actually happened, I couldn't really do anything about it. I started carrying a knife after that.
Number 4.
I used to be an assistant manager at my job. It's a buyback store for movies, music, and games. Well, I happened to be working at one that was near a ghetto. This one night, a junkie comes in, holds a gun up to me, and demands the money in the drawer. Well, as I was taught to do, I calmly put my hands up and tell him to just relax while I open the drawer. At this point, I'm scared shitless and my veins are pumping with pure adrenaline. As I turn to the computer to open the drawer, the single most terrifying moment of my life occurs. I hear a click, and my mind for a split second is all, fuck, that's it. But out of the corner of my eye, I see the clip eject from the gun, and the junkie has the most surprised look on his face. At this point, pure adrenaline and instinct kick in, and I do something extremely stupid. I reach over the counter, grab the gun out of his hand, and point it directly at him. I tell him to get the fuck out, and then call the cops. Later I found out that the gun wasn't loaded. but as such, I was extremely lucky.
Number 5.
I was working as a medic in an ambulance and was dispatched to a seizure at a restaurant. We arrive and the police were on the scene as the first responder. So the police officer flagged me over to the patient, and the police officer doesn't have any information for me. The patient was postictal, but in good shape, so we picked him up, told his wife and kids where we were going, and transported him to the emergency department. It is not uncommon to be confused and violent in this state, so nothing seemed out of the ordinary when he acted as such. I calmed him down enough to get his shirt off and get him on the monitor, never noticing anything weird in the process. However, when we pulled into the bay and I made my way to the back doors, he grabbed my arm and pulled a handgun out of the small of his back and pointed it at me. I felt my eyes get huge and I was about to grab the gun out of his hand when he spun it around and handed it to me. He looked at me and said, "Can you hang on to this for me?" This was the first thing he had been able to say clearly since we picked him up.